Thank you, Maddie, and thank you for your heartfelt kōrero a little bit earlier. That was fantastic, and you are a leader. Ina mana, ina reo, ina tangata whenua, ina rangatira mā, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa. Dia de bai, kia huich, welcome on, bonjour, alo. I just welcomed you from all of my tribes. Gaelic, Celtic, Norse, French. We're here, we've been here a while. My job is just lift up a little bit. I love the DNA, and Mary today has just been fantastic. It gives you a real sense of the fabric of the Waikato. The industries, the teachers, the understanding through education, and I heard from education they're willing to fund Smart Waikato moving forward. Thank you for that. The DNA is really fabulous for me, and the educationalists among you will know this intimately. I remember meeting Mary, 20 years ago, when I was running a graduate diploma in economic development, and at the time I was really taken by an Institute of Policy Studies program, research program in the UK, where they were recommending interventions at year 9 up and bringing businesses and schools and learners together so that they could have the opportunity to see what their future looks like and to get that engagement and get that sense of belonging and connectedness to their local community, their region and their businesses. And the same things were coming out then that are coming out now. I had no idea what that business was doing. Did not know what was in my backyard or what the opportunities were. They're huge. They're massive. But we are confronting some really interesting challenges. I was privileged enough when I was in Northland to work with the Hawaii Cable Project, which is a data cable that ran from North America via the Pacific and landed, of course, in Titai Tokerau, Mangawhai. That one cable doubled New Zealand's capacity. So you can all thank me for you being able to watch Netflix at night when you go home. Actually, you can thank Remy Galasso. And as it happens, you know, these things do have a thread in them. Remy now is working on a very large project, which I'm pleased to be working with him on, in Southland, called Data Grid. And the opportunity for us to engage with data use, AI, and so on is limited. We are limited by the amount of data capacity and connectivity with the rest of the world. The US at the moment, international visitors are looking at 1 gigawatt of power to supply their data campuses in order to manage the 10 times higher level of capacity with AI. And I see Catherine looking at me like, yeah, we need this stuff, please hurry up. We need this connectivity. And Kerry from really good to hear about distributed generation and so on, but one of the key opportunities for New Zealand in this whole area is the supply of green energy, which is what all the investors are looking for. And isn't it wonderful that New Zealand already has around 87% supply of green energy, and thanks to a company like we're going to be connected through the infrastructure that delivers that energy. But, as Kerry will know, 1 gigawatt's a lot, and we're not going to get there very easily. I've used a heuristic for myself in regional economic development over the years, and I ask myself this whenever I'm working in a region, whatever it is. It's kind of like a 7 capitals approach, very economic-y. All right, sorry about that. You know, I've got a bit of an economics background. But we often talk about 4 well-being capitals. I kind of extended it to 7, and they are the natural capital, our resources, our environment, how we look after it, what are the opportunities there. Physical capital, the built environment, we heard from Philton Hogan, how important is infrastructure for us to provide a basis for what we can do. Financial capital, economic capital, they're not the same, but I'll put them together. Do we actually have the capital to make these things happen? Aren't we all confronting these issues right now in the COVID hangover? Boy, are we. We've got a lot to go on. Human capital, which is a lot of what we're talking about today alongside social capital. Human capital, our ability to learn, to understand, to create, to innovate. Absolutely fundamental and vital. Social capital, the networks, the relationships, the trust that we build within our communities. How are they working? Are they working well? Can we make them work for us? Do we have the trust with each other, our institutions, our other relationships, our business sector, our public sector? Is there trust? Pretty key questions. How can we come together? The institutional fabric. Smart Waikato is an institution, a very welcome institution, might I add, and which is probably why when I was on the panel of the PGF, they got more money. But we're in another place now where we need to leap ahead with all these challenges. And last but not least, the kind of political capital. We need strong civic leadership. Absolutely vital. Now that creates a fabric. Unfortunately, right now, the government is really focused on the hard infrastructure side of that list. So we're talking about hard infrastructure. We're talking about building stuff. And I fully applaud that. We do need to do that. We've got an infrastructure deficit that is huge. However, building a bridge without the soft infrastructure underneath it is a bridge to nowhere. What you guys do and what you bring here by being here today is providing that soft infrastructure that can support the development. Without it, it's a waste of time. Maddie's story is an absolute example of what that means. What that means is it's the human element, it's the relationships, it's the creativity, it's the learning, it's the innovation, it's how we work together, it's the connections, it's the connectedness. Those things are absolutely fundamental. So while central government is going to get very busy on hard infrastructure, such as the project I'm working on, the hard infrastructure is one thing. Building another cable and providing space for data centres and those sorts of things will provide an economic boost to the region. And it will have indirect economic impacts. But it's the induced impacts that matter. What are we doing with this infrastructure? How are we taking it to build on it, to level up with that kind of underpinning opportunity that AI presents? So what I would say today, to try and pull that back together, one of the things I work with in terms of my own philosophy of understanding what I'm dealing with, in understanding the fabric of a region, is a notion, and a well-supported notion, of endogenous economic development. We're all endotherms. We've got the skeleton on the inside. A coda is an exotherm. Crayfish has a skeleton on the outside. So the philosophy there is building our economy, our society, our prosperity from within. And if you take that philosophy with you, what you guys are doing here today is providing the opportunity to take that leadership from within the region to advance the kaupapa of Smart Waikato. So thank you so much for being here today. I'm so happy that Mary invited me back. That DNA is so important, isn't it? That golden thread through your life. And for Maddie, absolutely evident. Thank you very much. Tēnā rā tātou katoa.